Hello students, welcome to MJC Learning. Our today's topic is related to types of insurance from chapter 4 of OCM subject. In the previous video, we studied life insurance. Now today we are going to learn marine insurance and fire insurance. Let's start with marine insurance. Marine policy gives protection against the losses caused due to the dangers of the sea. Various international trade is done through water transport, and such policies are useful for them. For importers and exporters, it is mandatory to insure their goods. It covers losses or damage to vessels or cargo or passengers during marine transport. Let's start with types of marine insurance policy. So the first type is voyage policy. The word voyage means journey by sea. This policy is taken for a specific voyage. In this case, risk begins only when the ship starts on voyage. It's not time-based like other policies. Policy expires when the ship arrives at destination. This policy covers only cargo, not the ship. Time policy. Time policy is taken for a definite period of time, which cannot be exceeded more than 1 year. But it has continuation clause. It can be continued. So, insured can continue further only when voyage is not completed. It means if goods start their traveling, if voyage start their traveling from one place to another place, and that traveling period is not completed, that voyage is not completed, so then that clause can be continued, but that is also for specific period of time. Next is mixed policy. This policy is combination of two types. One is voyage and other is time. It covers the risk of loss during particular voyage and for specific time also. For example, ship may be insured for a voyage between Karachi and London for a period of 8 months. So both the things are included here. Voyage and time. The place Karachi and London is a place from Karachi to London. It's a one voyage, and 8 months is a time period. Next is valued policy. In some cases, assessment of the real market value of goods is difficult. Under this policy, goods are insured for an agreed value between insurer and insured. Blanket policy. Blanket policy is taken. If blanket policy is taken, then no need to purchase multiple policies because it covers all risk accordingly. But in this policy, premium has to be paid in the beginning. Port risk policy. It covers the risk of a vessel at the port for a particular period of time. Composite policy. Such policy is purchased by more than one insurer, and liability of each insurer is different. Usually it is taken when the amount of insurance is very high. Single vessel policy. This policy is taken by small ship owner having only one ship. Now let's move towards types of fire insurance policy. Fire insurance policy protects against the risk of fire, such as loss due to fire, lightning, and explosion. Amount of premium depends on subject matter, place of storage, and extent of risk involved. Let's study types of fire insurance. So first one is valued policy. This is a policy in which value of the subject matter of insurance is agreed upon at the time of making the contract. In this policy, insurer has to pay a specific amount irrespective of the amount of loss caused due to fire. Valued policy is taken for those goods whose value becomes difficult to calculate in case of loss by fire. For example, policy can be taken for artwork, paintings, sculpture, etc., which is difficult to calculate. Average policy. This policy contains an average clause. If the subject matter is not insured as per the exact market value or it is undervalued, then the insurer is liable to pay that percentage of the loss for which it is insured. Let's try to understand with the help of an example. If a policy is taken for rupees 50,000 against the market value of rupees 1 lakh. Market value is 1 lakh and policy is taken for 50,000. The loss incurred due to fire is rupees 40,000. Here in this case, the insurance company will pay 20,000 rupees to the insured. 20,000, which is 50% of 40,000. See, policy is taken for 50,000. Market value of the thing for which insurance is taken is 1 lakh. Loss occurs of 40,000. Now here market value is 1 lakh and policy is 50,000. That is 50% of market value. So here loss occurs of 40,000. So what is 50% of that 40,000? 20,000. And that's why insurance company will pay 20,000. Specific policy. In case of specific policy, the property is insured for a definite sum irrespective of the market value of the subject matter. If any loss occurs, then the specified amount will have to be paid to the policyholder. Actual value of the subject matter is not considered. Example, a property of value rupees 1 lakh. So what is the value of property? 1 lakh, which is insured for rupees 60,000. And the loss due to fire is rupees 30,000. Value of property is 1 lakh, insurance is of 60,000 and loss is of 30,000. Then the insurance company will pay rupees 30,000 in full as compensation. Why? Because here actual loss is of 30,000 only. Floating policy. Floating policy is taken by those businessmen whose goods are lying in different localities or godowns. Quantity of goods also differ at different places, which fluctuate from time to time. In such case, it is difficult to take specific policy. So what businessman does here? The businessman, they take fluctuating policy or floating policy. Goods of all localities and go down will be covered up under such policy, and one businessman has to pay one premium for all goods lying at different places. Next one is comprehensive policy. This policy covers all types of risk. There are various types of risks which are faced by businessmen. So it covers risks like fire, riots, explosion, strikes, earthquake, flood, etc. Excess policy. Excess policy is useful when the value of stock in the market constantly fluctuates. There are some goods whose value is not fixed, it changes frequently. So here it is suggested two policies should be taken by the businessmen. So here two policies are advisable. One policy is for a minimum amount below which value of the stock never falls. Another policy for excess value. Now I'll give you one example. If the value of stock ranges between 1 lakh to 1,30,000 and a businessman is having some stock and its value is in between 1 lakh to 1,30,000, then for that businessman it is advisable to take two policies. One policy is for 1 lakh and another policy should be taken for 30,000 rupees. So in this way he would be safe. So whatever would be the price of his product in between 1 lakh to 1,30,000, he can claim his compensation. And the last type of fire insurance policy is reinstatement policy. This is a type of fire insurance policy where the insurer undertakes to replace the property. The insurance company, they agreed to replace the property or goods lost by fire instead of paying compensation. The property is replaced. The rate of premium is higher in reinstatement policy. So we finished our all types of policy. Thanks for watching.